Díomh Galer, happy St. Bridget's Day to you all out there in the United States. My name is Kev O'Fuelon, I'm from Central Ireland. This is a message of the highest urgency. It goes from us here in Ireland to all sons and daughters of Éireann across the United States. Ireland is in an existential crisis in 2025, the like of which has never been seen before in our troubled history. Since 2014, Ireland's governments have allied with the European Union in a pact with the devil. Birth rates in Ireland, and indeed all of Europe, have been falling steadily since the 1970s. Instead of addressing the underlying socio-economic causes of this collapse, those who place themselves as experts in our societies, particularly in the EU, they have taken the most egregious path available, that is, the replacement of native populations with migrants from Africa, Asia, and to some extent South and Central America. In 1998, the population of the Irish Republic was 3.75 million. Our natural population increase, which is deaths minus births, was around 19,000 per annum, or 0.5% of the population each year. The Irish government is very cagey with demographic details, but it is now estimated that the population is 5.6 million in 2025, and 30% of that population is now foreign born. It is arguable that the percentage of population with no Irish ancestry or heritage is now heading towards 35%. 35,000 international protection spaces have been made available by government to welcome those seeking refuge from wars abroad. This is a far too high a number, with a turnaround of about 6 months per each space, and a fast-track naturalisation programme has been implemented and imposed upon us, the Irish people. In 2024, last year, 120,000 people emigrated to Ireland, mostly from sub-Saharan Africa, the Middle East and South Asia. Almost all are economic migrants, not fleeing wars. In 2024, 30,000 people were granted Irish citizenship. That's more than for the entire 2020 to 2023 period inclusive. The number of citizenships granted is expected to increase almost exponentially each year going forward, as there's a 5-year minimum wait to become citizens of the Irish Republic. The real immigration began in 2020 and has accelerated since, so the first tranche are starting to become citizens this year and next. And that's why we have seen the dramatic increase in citizenships in 2024. It's possibly likely to be 40,000, 50,000 in this year. Estimates are being massaged by the Irish government, but it is a legitimate estimate that if trends continue, the population of the country by 2035, which is 10 years' time, will be 7.5 million people, with 3 million of that population not being of Irish heritage whatsoever. As it stands, we are facing a massive explosion in serious crime. We have seen multiple murders almost weekly. Women are particularly affected. We have seen an exponential increase in rape and sexual assaults, gang rapes, multiple occasions of foreign drug gangs operating in the country. We have seen beheadings. We've seen people blinded, and we have seen just chaos across the country. Ireland has had a serious housing crisis since 2014, and perversely over 1 million people have been brought into Ireland since then, and they are actively prioritised for housing allocation over the native Irish. Those 1 million people, on average, would require a minimum of 350,000 domiciles to live in this country. Meanwhile, we have an official homeless figure of 15,000 staying in government-provided shelters. This is a sleight of hand by the Irish government because it does not take into account those adults that continue to live with their parents into their 50s at this stage. And the hundreds of thousands of working adults that are living cheek by jowl with strangers in unsuitable house shares. So you might have a 3-bedroom house, which is 2 double bedrooms and a single bedroom, and you'll have 3 people living in that. They won't know each other. They go to work, they come home, they go to their room. It's breaking down every facet of normal life. And that figure is probably in and around 200,000 people in Ireland that are living like that, more even, I would say. Rental homes and homes to purchase are simply unaffordable to the vast majority of Irish people. Rents in rural Irish towns are around 2,000 per month at the moment. I have been for at least 2 to 3 years, and there are very, very few of those ever available. For example, in County Offaly today, there are 10 available properties to rent in a county with a population of nearly 90,000 people. So you've got 10 properties to rent in the county. It's ridiculous. Added to this, we have economic migration as well, which is being welcomed all and sundry, coming from all over the globe. We also have IPAS centres, which essentially look like military barracks, where you might have 500, 1,000 more people being ensconced into small communities up and down the country. And we have seen a huge opposition to this across the country. I'll just give you a list of where there's been major protests. Dundrum in County Tipperary, Borrisokane in Tipperary, Rosslare in Wexford, Killarney, Kerry, Coolock in County Dublin. That was a big one. There was a massive show of force by An Garda Síochána, where peaceful protesters were literally beaten to a pulp, pepper sprayed, multiple arrests. It was a peaceful protest. There was a proposal of 500 people going into a migrant centre in Coolock. The Coolock people realised it would not be 500, it would be 2,000 or 3,000. The place has very little amenities as it stands, has significant social problems, and the people said, no, we cannot cope with this, and they're beaten off the streets. Other places like Newtown, Mount Kennedy, serious violence there against protesters, and the protesters are, they're come from all walks of life. They're farmers, they're workers, they're plumbers, they're electricians, they're professionals, they're young, they're old, and they're being beaten off the streets. It really is getting very, very serious now. Other places like Tipperary Town, Wexford Town, Kilkenny City, Clonmel, another big one, Ennis in County Clare, Limerick City, Cork City, Galway City, Waterford City, Drogheda, Dundalk, Navan and County Meath, all significant protests across the country against basically what is a second plantation. Letterkenny in County Donegal, the Gaeltacht area up there, the native kind of speaking area of Donegal, is practically overrun. These are not Letterkenny and the other areas of Donegal. They are not significantly populated by native people, native Irish, and any significant number going in to such a place as Donegal has a significant impact on the demographics almost immediately, and it really is a crisis. It's an emergency. So, according to Gael, Ireland is facing an existential emergency, and our political parties, from Sinn Féin to Fianna Fáil to Fine Gael, the minor parties, the Greens, the Social Democrats, Labour, etc., they basically are trampling upon the voices of people. They are forcibly suppressing the clear, loud and consistent voice of the people across Ireland who are saying no to the second plantation of Ireland. Under Article 6.1 of the Constitution of Ireland, it is the people who have the final say in final appeal on matters of national policy and the common good. That Article 6.1 of Bunreacht na hÉireann, the Irish Constitution, is being suppressed by government. We are being told we do not have a voice, we do not have a right to object, and we do not have a right to say who comes into the country, who goes where, how many, for how long, etc. That is clearly flying in the face of the Constitution of Ireland, Article 6.1. Irish America, we are calling out to you as our exiled brothers and sisters, not just to send your moral support, but to actively engage at every level with us in Ireland, the people of Ireland. Ireland is falling. We are determined to stand against this replacement of us as a people. Our ancestors and your ancestors fought for centuries to maintain our people, to maintain our society, our culture and our heritage, and we faced many genocides. It is my opinion that this replacement strategy is actually it's far more dangerous. We recovered from the famine because there was less of us in terms of pre-famine levels, but we weren't swamped by a foreign people at the time. We are now, from all across the globe. We have held this island of destiny. That's the oldest name we know for Ireland. It's the Inish Foil. Inish means island, and foil is the genitive case of destiny. So the Inish Foil is the oldest name that we know for this island. We have held this, the Gaels have held this land for 3,200 years at a minimum. That's what we know, how long we've been here. We are determined not to see the sunset on the story of the Irish people in this generation, but we cannot do it without allies. If you value Ireland, the Irish people and your Irish heritage, we urge you to act, and act now. Bring this message you hear to the eyes and ears of influence, both in the United States and in Ireland herself. We invite you to communicate with us, actively engage with us, speak to us, whether it be on social media or by email, etc., etc., etc. The window for action is rapidly closing, the sun is setting, and the Irish story